All right, so as you start to build a project, you may hit a point where you need to have a third style of buttons. So right now we have these two button styles here. This one is labeled as secondary, and this one is our primary button. If we come in here, we can actually see, and I've already done this in this project, but I'll walk through it on another project. But if you, out of the box, you'll only see two styles of primary and secondary when you click on this little edit button with this here. So I can click on this secondary, and it'll turn it to look like this secondary button. I can click on primary, and it'll look like the primary button. And if I wanted to go change the colors, I have to do that in global styles because these button components are global. They're not they don't have component styles. They're actually global styles. So inside of here, to change the color, I would actually go into color palettes and then find primary, which is for the primary button, right? And then I would come in here and we can change this to whatever, a darker shade of purple, and we'll see it reflect down there. And I can even make it, we'll make it pink just so you can really see it. So here's like a pink, and we'll make it bright, and we'll see it reflect right there, right? So now we have a pink button. But if we wanted to have an extra button, let's say like this purple one down here, we need to create this third style in our global styles and a third button component as well. So I've done this in this project, but I just wanted to start this video by showing you the use case here for creating this third button. So we're going to now jump into a new project that I just spun up, and we'll walk through exactly how to get this up and running. So let me bring this third project down onto the screen for us, and I'll take this one up here. I might reference it myself as we go. All right, great. So we have this new project here, and again, we only have two button styles. So if I come in here, we'll click button, and we'll see we have this one and this one. And if I open it up inside of styles, there's primary and secondary. This is our starting point. So we're going to add that third one now. So let's jump into the code, and to do the first thing that we're going to do here is we're going to go to themestyles.yaml. So let's go to the we'll close this up. We'll go to StackBit, and then we'll go to the models, and specifically we'll go down to theme styles. And this is where all the global styles are options are held. So inside of here, we can look up the word secondary. Oh, to make sure that we do it correctly, I was typing right there. So secondary, and we'll find here that we have these two options, and I'm going to hit Option Shift down, and that's going to basically copy this down. And now what I'm going to do is I'll write in our third button. So we're going to call it Tertiary, and this one will be Tertiary, and this one here will be Tertiary, and foreground over Tertiary. Okay, great. So now we've created these three more options, which will show up in our global styles. But now, and we also need to come down here and take this whole object, which gives us all of the kind of like options of padding and border and all that stuff that's laid out here. So we can see this one's called button primary. So let's go down to the one called button secondary right here, and I'm going to scroll all the way down until the end of this object in the YAML, and I'm going to do the same thing. You can copy paste, but I'm just going to do the Option Shift down, which creates the next one, or it basically does the copy paste all in one. So Tertiary, and then Tertiary. Great. So now that I have these two, I'm just going to triple check here that there's nothing else I'm missing. Just since we're doing this video live, it'll be good to double check. Yeah, great. So we have all, so now we have our theme styles mapped out, which is exactly what we want. And so the next thing that we're going to do here, and we can actually see this, so why not just take a look real quick. So inside of styles, you'll see here we have, it's actually under color palettes. We've added in these two here, and we're going to now add in some more stuff here. So the next thing we're going to do is go into tailwind config. So let's close this up just to keep things clean, and we're going to go into tailwind config here, and we're going to create we're going to basically bring these down, and we're going to add these ones in like this. So we're going to go tertiary, and this one will be on tertiary. And then we're going to come down a bit further to where it says button SB component button secondary, and we're going to do the same thing again here, but we're going to obviously title this tertiary. So I'm going to copy all these ones, and I'm just hitting Command D. So Command D will highlight all the secondaries. And I'm going to go tertiary, and then I'm going to grab this one here and go tertiary. Oh, tertiary. And let's make sure that we have our commas and everything is here. And you may hit this little error because it might save while you're making an edit. If you do, you can refresh the page and that error will have gone away. Give me 1 second here while we double check all of that. Oh, it looks like I messed something up when I went in here and made this edit. So let's see. Oh, this button tertiary. So right now this button tertiary isn't, there is nothing in the code that actually relates to this. So we need to create that, and that's why we're getting this error. So inside of here, let me just double check that we have everything set up in the Tailwind config. So I'll type in tertiary here, and I'm pretty sure we have everything set up. Yep, it looks like we do. Great. So the next place that we're going to go is we're going to go into the style.json file. So if we go into content, data, and then the style.json, we'll find in here the secondary and on-secondary options or key value pairs. So in here we're going to go tertiary, and same thing with this. We'll go on tertiary, and I'm going to make the tertiary like a purple color out of the box, and we'll leave the on top of the tertiary just this white color. And so now that we have that in place, the next thing that we're going to go do is just scroll down, and you'll see kind of the preset styles for the tertiary buttons, and we're going to basically bring that down with a quick copy paste, and we're going to go tertiary. Perfect. And so we have this in place now, which is exactly what we wanted. And then let's move to the next part here. We may actually be able to have this work now because it's connected. If it doesn't, we're going to just keep going forwards, and we'll see the connection happen in a second. Border radius of undefined. Let's keep going, and I think we'll see this connect in a moment or two. I apologize about getting the error there, but it should all come together. So we have the new tertiary set up. Options are all set up here inside of our style JSON, and then we're going to go into main CSS. So inside of main CSS, you can find that inside of source, and then CSS. Main CSS, and here's kind of where some of the little tricks come into play. So inside of here, we're going to add in a new component, and we'll just title it SB component button tertiary, and I'm going to do apply, and then this is where I can go BG tertiary, and then do the same thing, text on tertiary. And these, where you do this, the BG dash tertiary and text on tertiary, great. So now we see the connections made. So inside of here, this is matching up with the variables that we had written before. So if you're using a different term here other than tertiary, like when you write tertiary or on, whatever it is, like just have that match up here, and it'll make the connections. That's how Tailwind works with when it does uses this this item. So from here we'll go into the Button Yaml. So I'm going to open up StackBit models and then Button Yaml, and inside of here what we're going to do is obviously we'll just find where it says primary and secondary, and we're going to just bring it on down, and we'll do the same things we've been doing. So tertiary, and let's make the default tertiary so we can see it come out of the box. When we create a new one, it'll be a tertiary button instantly. So I'll make sure that we've done everything we need in here, which it looks like we have. And now the last thing that we're going to do is we actually need to come to the button component itself. So inside of source, go to components and then atoms, and inside of atoms you'll see action, and this is where we have our button components. And you'll see down here that there's we need to add in a new part, a new line, which basically says SB component button tertiary, which we had written in the Tailwind config, right? So tertiary, and now that that's in place, we should be all set with our third button. So let's go ahead and we'll add the third button here. So I'm going to click button, And boom, here's our third button, right? Exactly like we wanted. And now if we wanted, so let's say, okay, cool, we got it out of the box, but we want to customize this a little bit. What we're going to do here is we can come into the styles, and we'll come down to button styles. And now we'll see that we have this tertiary button option. And inside a tertiary button, I'm just going to mess around with it, but we can make font weight bold. We can make it all capitalized. And we can make, if you wanted to make it like smaller, so we'll bring it down here to 15, and we'll make the vertical padding 15 too. So it increases it a little bit, right? And we're messing around with everything. We can add in a shadow if we want behind it, but you're getting the point there. If we wanted to change the color of this button, we need to go to color palettes, and inside of here we'll see tertiary. And in tertiary, we can basically make this whatever we would want. So let's make it green, because that's a bit different than this purple. So we'll make it a really bright one so we really see it. And there it is. Now we have this awesome bright colored button, and we have full control over it. And the other cool thing about this is anywhere that we want to use this button, we would just come into a new component. So let's scroll down and find a component that uses a button like this one, and we'll just click add, and we'll add a button, and it will pop up as tertiary, right? And if we wanted to change this to make it back and use, let's say this secondary or primary button, we can do that as well just by opening the edit button and coming to styles. And then here we can go to secondary, and now we'll have that secondary option, or we can make it a primary option as well. So that's how you create a new button inside of StackBit that you can use across all the different pages.